Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for April 6th. I'm your host, Aaron Armstrong, and with me today is Mary. How you doing, Mary?
Great. Good morning. It's not my birthday week, but I'm still having a good time, so it's okay.
It's birthday week, birthday month, birthday year, really,
Yeah,
if you think about it.
exactly. Exactly. I
Uh,
like to take the Lita approach on that one,
yeah.
so.
We are here to tell you everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother Canada 7 live feeds. It was day 35 in the house, and we got the nominations. Nominations happened. We had more plans for the nominations, for after the nominations, and just everything in between. So we started the day with Cory and Damien. Cory was letting Damien know that he's good. He's safe. He's okay.
Yep.
Nobody's gonna hurt him.
No, no. I love this plot line of Damien just being like this sad puppy that everyone needs to reassure at all times.
Well, nobody's gonna hurt him this week, but Anthony's gonna start planting seeds to hurt him.
No,
Stop it, Anthony.
I know. And the thing is, it's kind of about time because Damien, he's great. He's a really nice guy, probably really, one of the most genuine people in this house, but he's made it surprisingly far considering how little he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying sometimes I feel like I create these things in the universe because literally just yesterday I was like, I mean, I like Damien, I like his spot right now, but I feel like he's running out of runway, and I feel like Anthony is cutting off his runway today.
Yeah, yeah. People are sneaking up on him and it's sad, but this is what happens when you don't really try to make a ton of allies.
Yeah. Well, she does tell Damien she's not nominating Sam or Adam, at least right away. So that's what we talked about yesterday morning. It was happening very early. She then is going to talk to Anthony, and they discuss the nominations, and they're going back and forth about different possibilities. Should I nominate Dane and Mark, Dane and Esty and Mark? What are the possibilities here? They ultimately land on Esty and Dane. It's easy to explain because the stories about the back door. Sam says it was Dane. Dane and Esty say it was Sam, and so she can kind of just be like, hey, Kiki said these things about you guys and all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to put you guys on the block. And then the backdoor plan is to get rid of Sam. So if the
Yeah,
veto is used, Sam will go home.
yeah. And I mean, if you thought things were going to be different, on day two of when Cory has become HOH, no, it's still there's only one thing to be concerned about, and that's who was trying to backdoor me last week, who came up with this plan. It's really the only thing that matters. And Anthony, I think, is really grinding that one into the ground to make sure that that's where Cory's head's at. Got to keep Cory on track to make sure that Anthony's vision comes true.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of this has to do with the fact that Cory came into the house late. I
Mm-hmm.
really do, because I mean, if you I'm like trying to get into Cory's head. Why does she think the way that she does? Why does she feel the way she does? And she's hugely influenced by Anthony, obviously. But I think one of the reasons why Anthony is so easily able to influence her is because she came in late and she was like struggling to find people because they'd already made bonds, they'd already made alliances, and then Anthony was one of the few people to like really give her the time of day, and not talk behind her back like Mama was doing, or Eddie. And so when Anthony does that, not only is Anthony one of the few people to give her the time of day, but Anthony is a powerful figure in the game. He has a lot of influence. He has a lot of allies. Anthony keeps her safe. There were a lot of conversations over the course of yesterday and the night before where people came to her saying, "I would never go against you because I would never go against Anthony."
Yeah.
Because we had a bond from day one. Those are bonds that can't be formed with Cory because she wasn't in the house day one. So she feels like she managed to get in with somebody who has bonds that can help keep her safe, that Anthony's bonds are helping her, and therefore her bonds, and she feels like her game in the house is so tied to Anthony that it's being helped by Anthony so much because of his connections that, like, obviously she is going to go deeper and deeper into that Anthony influence, and I feel like that's where we end up here with Cory, where now she is just like wholly almost under his control.
Yeah, and there could be an argument being made of like, why did, Damien or someone else not try and pick up Cory in the same way that Anthony did? And part of it, like you're saying, is it's safer to be with Anthony because other people like Anthony and have that respect and that connection. But it would take a really good player of Cory to ride with Anthony for a while and then jump off the Anthony train when they realize they can't beat Anthony in the end. And Anthony's connections are, not going to get her the win. So I feel like you want to see the underdogs all team up. You want to see them get together. And I don't know why just season after season you have people who are willing to go way, way, way too far with people they probably can't beat.
Yeah, and it's like Damien did try to get Cory, right? Like he has been talking to Cory a lot. They've bonded a lot. The difference is that Damien doesn't have power in the game, and so Cory likes Damien. They've talked about having,
but that's a reason why Cory should want to be with Damien,
right?
Because he doesn't have power. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's sort of maybe it's too early, but yeah. The light's at the end of the tunnel there.
I mean, if you're looking at trajectory in the game, right, and you're looking at, should I be a duo with Damien, who has nobody else and no influence and hasn't won any competitions, and lots of people talk about him as somebody that could leave, or do I want to be with a duo with Anthony, who has never been a target, has tons of influence in the game, and is looking like he's going to the final two and can protect me, and little does she know, has protected him or has protected her on a couple of occasions now. Of course, she doesn't realize the extent of his power and how much that he would probably cut her at the end, but I think it's obvious to see why you would be like, hey, it's safe over here. I'm just gonna walk over here. And something that I think I'm thinking about, apart from Tim, who came in late, who was his own kind of person. I think every person we've seen come in late has followed the same, a very similar formula, where like Allison came in and she got very involved with Andrew. I believe his name was, from the first five. And like the first five, they were in power. She was drawn to that. Andrew could protect her. I really hope I'm not getting that name wrong. And I really, it's the, you know the guy. You know the guy. And then, even like it just kind of, you just kind of gravitate toward that. And then you had Veronica kind of gravitating toward Will and Kayla to some extent. You had Marin gravitate toward Dayla. When people come in late, it's hard for them to create their own thing. They have to gravitate toward where the power goes, or where the power is, if they want to stay safe. And I think that's what we're seeing with Cory yet again. And so really, this is just me saying I think we should stop doing these people coming in late.
I mean, I agree. I the only way to break the mold is really, it's fine to stay with them for a little while, but after 3 weeks or so, when you've met other people and you have made some of your own bonds, that's when you need to start. You be the power player. You make your own crew. Separate a little bit. And I mean, it's fan fiction. It's fine. We can move on.
Yeah. People are asking about Nikki. Nikki gravitated toward Tim, who kind of had his own power, and also eventually went toward Mitch, who was the other powerful player in the house. So there you go. So that's and obviously another part of this too is that Cory has only seen one season, and we'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. They're going to backdoor Sam. So Dane is going to talk to Adam. They're going to make up a little bit. We're sorry for what we did. Basically, Dane is taking the role of, you're good. I'll take this one. I'll go on the block. That's fine. You win. You get what you want. Can we be friends again now? And Adam's like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, it has finally hit Dane that, hey, if I'm going up on the block anyway, I should probably not piss off the people who I need votes from to begin with.
Yeah. So they make up. Cory is going to talk to Sam and question her more about this backdoor plan. She still feels like she can see a lot of inconsistencies. And it is important to point out that the truth of this matter is that Dane came up with this idea on his own, that he wanted Cory backdoored. He put a plan into place to try and convince Sam of this. It was his own plan. Cory's the alpha female. Let's get these groups together. Let's get Cory backdoored. Adam also came up with a plan separately on his own that he would like Cory to be backdoored once he had gotten once he had that conversation in the pantry with Kiki and Esty about like the people on the sidelines after the blood veto. And so he spent time talking to Sam, convincing her. So Adam initially convinced Sam to make this move. Then Dane was in a conversation where Sam was like, well, I've been thinking maybe Cory. And Dane was like, yeah, Cory. And Dane thought that his work had made it happen. And so during a certain point of time in last week, that this was the plan, that Sam was going to nominate Cory as the back door. And so really all three of them are culpable. All three of them very much involved. Sam, honestly, probably the least involved since she was mostly convinced, but still was on board at one point with this plan. But Sam's story is that it was all Dane. She's trying to cover for Adam and herself that, no, we didn't come up with it. It was Dane that was pushing this idea. That's why it was talked about. So Sam is lying to Cory in these conversations. Now, Dane is also lying because he's saying that he had nothing to do with it. He's saying it was all Sam. He's also covering for Adam, but he's pushing it all on Sam. And the difference between the two here, between Dane and Sam, is that Dane did a ton of work the night before that we talked about on yesterday's update, coordinating his story with everyone that he needed to coordinate with Esty, with Damien, with Anthony, and Sam is just deny it. She has not coordinated anything. They've coordinated the fact that they're going to deny it, but nothing else, no details. And so when Sam is questioned by Cory, she does not do a good job at denying and of creating a cohesive narrative that works in Cory's mind. So this is not going to be a good conversation for Sam.
No, and Sam and Adam make a few mistakes all throughout the day of not getting their story completely straight and sort of backpedaling and then trying to come back, and they're both frustrated with the situation. And I mean, I don't know, the whole thing is ridiculous because Cory, it's like, yeah, there were like a few options of course everybody talks about everybody going up at some point, but it was mostly Dane. I don't know, from my view, I feel like Dane was one pushing hard enough. He's just the smart enough person in there, like you said, to cover his tracks a little better.
Yeah. It really was. And so, yeah, it's also, it is different stories where like Sam is like, no, never. It was all Dane.
No, of course not.
And then Adam is in there like, oh, I don't know if it was Dane. I mean, yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but we talked about everyone. It's just like they did not coordinate in the same way that Dane did with his allies, and so this is really sketching Cory out, and it really seems to confirm everything that Anthony is telling her, which only goes further to confirm that Anthony is trustworthy and that Anthony's advice should be taken. So Cory and Sam is also like bringing up all sorts of stuff like, oh, I don't know why Kira said it was Dane and Adam, because that does really complicate things. Why would Kira say it's Dane and Adam when Sam is saying no, it was just Dane? So why is Kira saying Dane and Adam? So Sam tries to explain it like, oh, well, Kira thought there was a guys alliance at the time, and so I think that they were trying to just implicate the guys and get the women on board at the same page, and it was just, it's all very muddled and confusing, and Sam is withholding too much, and so it just comes off very poor, and so Cory is very sketched out, but she does let Sam know that Dane is going to be probably one of the nominations, and that makes Sam happy. That's she's struggling here, but she's like, okay, well, okay, that's good. That's good. I think I'm failing right now, but somehow I'm still succeeding, I guess. Dane on the block. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta think a little bit ahead of that. It's not always the people who get put up right away who go home, especially when the people getting put up are the ones known to win a lot of challenges. So I don't think Sam should be that happy.
Yes, and after Sam leaves, Cory is going to say to the cameras, this week is gonna be insane. I need to figure out how to expose Sam. She's feeding me a bunch of BS right now, which is true, but at the same time, so is the other side. Everyone's lying to you. You just it's like she's figured out that Sam is lying to her, but she hasn't figured out that Dana's lying to her. So it's like, nah, you're so close.
But it doesn't matter because, the girls are only allowed to fight against the girls in this house. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Cory ends up seeing Dimitri at Wendy's.
Yeah, and learns a lot, and then keeps repeating the exact same advice that he gives her over and over throughout today.
So something that so Cory talks to Dimitri, and she's asking him about his alliance with Ica, and she wanted to know, did you ever doubt Ica? Yeah. And he says, not for a second. Nope. Which I was like, okay, Dimitri. I watched those feeds. Sure, though. I get it.
But Cory didn't watch those feeds.
Right. So Cory took this to mean confirmation. Anthony and I are solid. I shouldn't doubt him. I should not doubt Anthony for a second.
If it worked for Dimitri and Ica, it's going to work exactly the same way for us.
Yes. Very important to note, as Mary says in today here, Cory did not watch season 5.
No.
So again, kind of important to have people that know the show.
It's fine. It's fine though. I mean, I think Cory, maybe Cory should have just gotten last week's Wendy's and just had a nice little time with Rosie.
Rosie, who, by the way, I forgot to mention this. If you watch the Rosie clip from Wendy's, the extended one where Sam is asking her a bunch of questions. Rosie is like a hostage trying to give keywords. She's like, man, I just love girl alliances. And Sam is like, oh yeah, well, so I don't know, what do you think? What would you have done differently in the house? You were voted out first. What would you have done differently if you to stay? And she was like, well, I probably would have formed a girl alliance. I probably would have done that because I love girl alliances. They are really great and should be done a lot.
Which is actually funny because I'm pretty sure Rosie got voted out because she was too close with the girls and was only rooting for the girls in that competition.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this was 100%. She was trying to be like, girls, work together. Did not get through.
No, that's okay. Yeah, but I'm sure that if Cory had heard that same conversation, she would have somehow been like, so what you're saying is stick with your alliance and get out the girls. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. On the same page.
Yep. So anyway, in this conversation where she's telling Anthony about this and how she should never doubt him, Damien walks in, and Damien kind of just sits down, and the conversation just... Anthony very clearly doesn't want to talk in front of Damien. It's very awkward. And I noticed this, and it is going to come into play a little bit later as an example that Anthony's going to use. So I'm going to point it out here. Cory is then going to talk to Esty. And Esty is going to, this is kind of a feeler conversation. She's not going to tell Esty yet that she's going on the block, but Esty is going to ask Cory a question about Anthony. She says, sometimes I worry about telling Anthony things because I'm worried that he's going to tell Adam everything that I tell him. And Cory's like, what? No, definitely not. Definitely not. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she goes and she asks Dane the same question. Does Anthony tell Adam things? Dane's like, no, definitely not. Anthony wouldn't do that.
No, because Anthony's just chilling by himself, and he's definitely not the most connected person in the house.
Yes. Dane lets Esty know that he might go on the block, she might go on the block. If it happens, they need to just be calm. There's hopefully another plan in place, and they just need to not freak out and stay the course. And so Esty's like, okay. Then Esty talks to Anthony, and Anthony is going to kind of have a talk about like, hey, you should have trusted me last week. If something bad happens this week, let me just say, you should have trusted me last week. You should have come to me about the Cory backdoor. You should have come to me about, the doubts that you were having. You were talking about me. That's not great. She says, I'm sorry. I did have some doubts. I did say some things about you and Cory, but I was mostly just trying to save Kiki. I apologize. He's basically setting Cory up for the you're nominated.
Yep.
So yeah.
Which people like, yes, Anthony is running Cory's HOH, but at least he does probably the best job of having her back in a more subtle way than the other pairs. I feel like Anthony does a better job of keeping Cory safe than Adam does with Sam or Dane does with Esty. People, besides this one time last week when people had mentioned Cory, and which was less against Cory and was more trying to protect their own people, and that she was one of the only people up there. I mean, I don't think Dane wanted Cory out for any major reason. So it was more just like, I'm trying to keep my people safe. I don't know. I feel like Anthony's definitely has Cory's back more.
Yes, I think so too. I think that Anthony wants to protect Cory to a very large extent. I think he also genuinely likes and respects Cory a lot.
Haven't you heard they're the new Dimitri and Ika?
Yeah, Anthony is somebody that loves to trash talk and loves to use extreme language, but he never trash talks Cory. He's always very nice about Cory, even to the other guys, where maybe he should be trash talking her a little bit in order to hide their bond, but he doesn't do it, at least for now. So I do think that Anthony really likes Cory a lot, and wants to get her as far as he can. So Dane is going to talk to Cory, and Cory is going to let Dane know you're on the block. It's going to be you and Esty, but the plan is to backdoor Sam. But we're not going to tell anyone. We're not going to tell Esty. We're not going to tell Damien. We're not going to tell Kira. So, that's the plan. Dane is like, well, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be part of this wonderful opportunity to get rid of Sam. I'm so glad. This reminded me of Dustin, Big Brother 8, wanting to be what was it? The person that gets to flush the toilet next to Evil Dick or whatever.
Yeah.
Dane is just so happy that he gets to be a part of getting rid of Sam in any small way.
Yeah, which is, it's cute. I mean,
maybe it'll go the same way it did with Dustin. Who knows? Probably not.
Yeah, Dustin, winner of that season, Big Brother 8. Yeah.
Wait, does this mean Sam is the winner of this season?
Gosh, I don't know. Is Sam Evil Dick or is Sam Danielle in this scenario? I don't know.
So Dane, he legitimately thanks Cory for going on the block. Anthony and Cory are going to have a conversation after that. He lets her know about his conversation with Esty. And in this conversation with Esty, he's going to get, I think, even more. I didn't catch it entirely, but she, I think, talked about Damien a little bit and gave him, he's already been talking about this a bit, but I think he was given even more of a hint in his conversation with Esty, how much she trusts Damien, and he's worried about their relationship. He says that, Damien is really close with Esty. We need to be careful of him. We need to be careful of what we say to him because he's so close with Esty and probably tells her everything. So just make sure we don't tell anyone the backdoor plan. And Cory's like, oh yeah, of course. I'm already on top of that. I'm not telling anyone the backdoor plan.
Yeah.
Yes. So Sam is going to talk to Kira about her conversation with Cory, and she is saying, I'm worried. I feel like I was getting interrogated a little bit, and I feel like I did not pass the interrogation. Kind of concerned because I'm lying, and I don't think I'm doing a good job, and it's all because of Adam. I'm covering for him. That's the only reason I'm lying. And Kira's like, well, I think you should just tell the truth. I think you should just say the truth, and that will help. And
because for Kira, if Kira tells the truth, nothing no harm's gonna come to Kira, really.
Nothing falls on Kira.
Yeah. The problem is it's because Anthony likes Kira and Anthony does not like Sam. So even if Sam had great evidence and told the truth, Sam's still somehow going home. Like, Anthony is going to swing it in that way. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sam could she could say whatever. Might as well tell the truth. Nothing right? She's gonna make Adam mad, but at least it'll be more fun.
Well, she approaches Adam with the idea, should I just go and tell the truth? And Adam says, no. We're good. And if you go and say the truth now, it just makes you look like more of a liar because you're changing your story. And do you think Dane is changing his story? No. People that change their story, they look like liars. So you shouldn't do this. And he has a kind of a point, but at the same time,
he has a point. But he keeps going to Cory and saying, "Yeah, I mean, like, no. I mean, we kind of talked about it, but no, I mean, like, no, we didn't do that. But like, I mean, of course, we mentioned everybody's names, but I don't know." And then he goes to Sam. Gosh, Sam, can't we just stick to the story? Why don't you just stick to the story? Deny. It's like, Adam, you're the one who's also doing this.
Yeah, his reasoning is right, but his end result is so wrong for Sam. She should be doing everything she can at this point. He just doesn't realize that, and nor does she. So Dane is going to talk to Esty. He says he has a feeling he's going up. Esty asks, "Is it a feeling, or have you been told?" He says, "Just a feeling. Just a feeling."
Nothing confirmed.
It's all Kiki's fault. She really sewered my game.
Yeah.
So really, really blaming it on Kiki, and he's going to continue to blame it on Kiki.
Yeah. And he's also, to be noted, like, kind of lying to Esty here.
Yes.
And not saying that confirmed he is going up. So.
Yes. And then Esty goes and talks to Cory. And then Cory says, "Esty, you're going up."
Thank you. Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I don't agree with that. No. And who am I going up against? You're going up against Dane. Does Dane know that he's going up?" "Yeah, I just told him." Ooh. Whoops. Yep.
Pick your people to tell the truth to, because you're gonna get caught. Or Dane, like, cover your back, talk to Cory and say, "Okay, I'm not gonna tell Esty. Can we be on the same page here?" It's fine. Yeah. Doesn't matter. And then Cory also keeps talking about, I think she's getting this wrong. Maybe it's just me. She keeps talking about how after this week, it's okay. It'll be a clean sweep.
Yes.
Which means a clean slate, right? Clean slate? Yeah.
Yep.
It's not gonna be a clean sweep. That's a different thing. That's okay.
Clean sweep. Everyone's getting evicted except for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna clean them all out. No. Okay. I don't know where that ranks in terms of. I still think frustrated is worse, but.
Oh, no, it's weary. Weary's my least favorite thing.
That one doesn't bother me as much. That just sounds like you're saying it with an accent. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but oh man, the audiobook. All right.
What audiobook was this?
I'm listening to Fool's Assassin of the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, which is the final part of the Realm of the Elderlings series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost me. I got a little bored halfway through that.
It's great. Everyone should read. So Esty says, "No, don't put me on the block. I promise, I swear on my father's grave. Yeah. It was not me that came up with the backdoor thing. It was not it was Sam. Sam came up with it."
Right.
I don't even remember what Esty really believes. I don't know if she's lying here.
I don't know either. I was trying to remember that too. I'm like, at what point did the conversation that just keeps coming back to my head is when they're all sitting, the group of five. Remember this 5-person alliance that is definitely, Kiki's gone. Oh, well, I guess that didn't work. The 5-person alliance that was meeting in Leon's lounge last week around this time. And they're all sitting there. And then Dane, all of a sudden, it's like the light bulb goes off. Oh, shoot. Hey, why don't we target Cory? So I'm pretty sure that was like the first time that Esty really, really got clued in.
Yeah.
So she got a cover for Dane. So
yeah, I mean, it did, I think, seemingly come from Sam in that conversation. But then right after that conversation, Dane took her aside in the have-not room and said, "That was all me. I convinced Sam to go after Cory. So I don't know if she forgets that conversation or if she is just like straight up lying here. But she swears on her father's grave it was Sam. And so Cory is going to pretend to still be up in the air here. That I'm still not sure, and I just think it's right for you to go on the block, because she really just takes instruction and goes all the way with it. So she's really just playing up the act of like, yeah, it's just you guys on the block right now, and does not want to hint that she does believe them, and that there is a backdoor plan in play. So really just keeping Esty in the dark there. Esty says she's still willing to work with Cory and Anthony if she stays this week. She has been prepped by Dane to take this as well as possible, and so she does so.
Yeah, it's not quite as well as Kiki's first nomination. How well she took that when she was like jumping up and down, excited and thanking Sam. But it's close.
Yeah. So Esty is then going to go to Dane, and she says,
Thank you, Chelsea. Sorry.
I really didn't expect to go up on the block next to you. I thought it would be someone else. And Dane was like, yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't be you. And he does say that Cory told him. He was like, yeah, she told me, but I was hoping it wasn't gonna be you. And he again just says to reassure her, like, hey, we need to win the veto. We're gonna be fine. I think we're gonna be fine. Like, we need to win
the veto, but particularly I do, and I need to take myself off. Like, I mean, like the best for us is for me to be safe.
Very important.
Yeah.
Anthony is then going to talk to Cory again. Cory says Esty swore on her father's grave that it was Sam, and that seals it 100%. She thinks it's definitely Sam. Esty would not lie about that. So then they talk about like, okay, so now scenarios. What if Adam wins the veto?
Right.
What if Adam wins the veto? What happens? Anthony says, well, I mean, we could trick him. We could say, hey, use the veto and we'll put up somebody else. And then Sam on the block. And Cory's like, is that too much lying, though? It feels like too much lying. And he's like, no, it'd be legendary. It's not lying. We'd use a truth. We'd use a truth. We'd figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll find a truth to make our lie work. Right. Yeah. I mean, at first he suggests that we just tell Adam that we're going to put Kira up. And then he realizes, ooh, maybe we shouldn't do that right at first. Maybe we should try to hint that it's because you really want Dane out. So he'll want to protect Dane. So he'll want to take Dane down. So it kind of playing all around. This is the flaw in the guys going on and on and on for weeks and weeks and weeks telling Adam, look, when we get a chance, we're putting Sam up. Got to get rid of Sam. Sam's terrible. Got to get rid of Sam. You can't now backtrack and be like, no,
Sam? No, never.
Well, Sam's not a threat. Who cares?
We love her. We can't wait to meet your kids.
Sam's the best. It's like they've got this picture in their mind that this is going to be like the world's biggest shock that they're going to put Sam up. Which it would be had you not been talking about this every day for the last 34 days.
Yes. And Anthony, again, has very good instincts here with Kira, recognizing that they should not say their name as a potential backdoor. And also, at one point in this conversation, Kira sticks their head in to be like, hey, guys. And they're like, hey, can we just have a minute? And then pretty quickly, Anthony was like, all right, now you need to get Kira in here. And Cory was like, it doesn't matter. They know. Like, we talk all the time. He was like, no, it's not. We want to make sure they feel included.
Right.
And like, so just say, you were telling me the nominations. You're going to tell them the nominations too. And those are the only people you're telling. And so Cory does exactly that. Just very like those are like the little things that really matter. And Anthony is on top of those.
Right. Well, but you remember it's also, we're talking about Friday, so got a long time for Anthony to get cocky and make some mistakes by the end of the week.
Yes.
Cory also mentions to Anthony again another thing Dimitri's told her. He says you got to go with your original instincts. After that, trying to convince yourself, you're just going to make yourself think whatever you convince is true. So just continuing, I knew it was Sam at the beginning. See, and Dimitri said go with your original instincts, and we're Dimitri's and Ika. Remember?
Oh, Dimitri.
I know. It's like pick a different person to talk to Cory. I want to know what would have happened had Cory gotten, like one of Dayla in there or something.
I think we need Johnny.
Yeah.
Or Mitch, like somebody that is capable of like very subtle manipulation. I mean, look, we got Dan in the Big Brother Canada one house and changed the entire outcome of the season. That's all I'm gonna say.
Gosh.
For the record, I'm not actually advocating for people to go in and manipulate the game.
But when you have someone like Dan, or if you have someone, maybe Johnny, who is watching the season and comes in, I'm sure it's just their entire goal to be like, let me see if I can manipulate what's going to happen, and I'm not even playing. That's what would be fun.
So the feeds go down. We have the nomination ceremony. Dane and Esty are nominated for eviction. Afterward, Anthony and Cory are going to talk again, and Anthony is going to continue to plant those seeds about Damien. And it's just like, I was like, no, but at the same time, like, yes, Anthony, this is the right move. The Cory is very close to Damien, and the more that you can inject out in between that relationship and isolate her from other people, the more control you have over her in the game. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart. It's another reason why I feel like Damien could have maybe put more work in with Anthony, do something. I mean, at some point, it's like, if you're not the pretty boys and you're not Anthony's number one, there's not that many people left in the house. So people got to go, and he does a pretty good job. You're starting to say, you know what? I feel like Adam and Sam are a pair, and we're a pair, but maybe Esty is just faking her pair with Dane. Maybe her real number one is Damien. Yeah. Maybe that's what's really happening.
They're like a secret pair. Yeah, I mean, he really sells it. That they're really close secretly. They tell each other everything. They're very like just listen, pay attention. You'll see it. And so we need to make sure we don't tell Damien too much. And he just comes in. He feels comfortable just plopping into our conversations, which is good. It's good that he feels that way. But we need to be very careful. We can't trust him. And he wonders, thinking about it, if Damien is close to Esty and they tell each other everything, I wonder if he knew about the backdoor plan and never told us. Because Esty knew about it, so I'm sure Esty told him, but he never said anything, so that's all I'm saying.
But that would be the entire house. Who does he want her to go after? Everyone can have come up with the backdoor plan.
I don't think he wants her to go after Damien. I think he just wants her to not trust Damien because, again, the more isolated she is from other people, the more influence he directly has. And Damien is also somebody that is probably, being set up to be targeted soon. Certainly not by Cory, but, by somebody else. So...
What makes Anthony more likable to watch than someone like Paul? Like he's got the same sort of manipulation and the same control over other people's, HOHs and he even has, I feel like, I feel like he's got the most ability to manipulate the other people within the pretty boys. I don't know. I just wonder. Maybe he's just not as mean or just not as loud or.
Well, I've compared him a lot more to Derek. I feel like their style of gameplay is a lot more similar. Paul definitely took a lot of cues from Derek, but I think was distinctly different. And I think one of the main things with Paul is that he was a former player who knew the game, and that gave him so much credibility that wasn't really earned. Whereas Anthony barely knows the game and is coming here and gives himself credibility through his own bearing. I do think that Anthony is more likable in the house. When he's being fun.
I guess what I'm trying to say is from the outside, the audience looking at the two players, Paul and Anthony, and they're not a great correlation, but it's just that they both are disliked by the audience in the way that they're controlling and playing. But within the house, everybody seems to love them, which I think is interesting.
Well, I think that Anthony is much more liked than Paul was. And I think a large part of that has to do with the fact that, like, when he's not being manipulative, he is very fun and fun to watch on the feeds, and also he's not like the one man wrecking ball. He's got a lot of other people who are on a similar level. He's just better than them. Whereas like with Paul, he didn't even talk real strategy with anyone, because it was just him by himself running everyone. With Anthony, it's like it's Anthony, it's Mark, it's Dane, and it's Adam, and Anthony is just one step ahead. But there's still a lot of like actual conversation, and there's like a balance of power where sure, Anthony's doing better than those other guys, but those other guys are still in it with a shot. So I think that really makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's almost like you like people who are controlling, but there is some opposition as well. Yeah, you don't want to see a clean sweep.
Yes, clean sweep. So we then get Adam and Cory. Adam is going to talk to Cory about their four, him, Sam, Cory, and Anthony.
Just four. Still been together the whole time.
Yeah, still in his head there. They talk about taking Esty out over Dane, and Adam thinks that is a possibility. But Cory is still kind of like, we'll see, trying to keep this vague. And Adam, the important part here is that Adam says he will be gunning for the veto, and if he wins it, he will not use it. And Cory does not find an angle to push otherwise at the moment. So Adam really wants to win the veto. He really wants to not use the veto right now.
They're kind of, this is the flaw in putting Esty on the block. It's also the stalemate you're at of Cory doesn't have a good reason why Adam should use it when Adam wants Esty out, and Adam can't come up with a whole lot of valid reasons why Esty should be the target over Dane for someone like Cory. So, putting if Cory's ideal second option is for Dane to go home in an event where they both stay on the block, this is the problem with putting Esty up.
Yeah. So we then get Adam and Sam. Sam is still concerned about Cory. She's really worried about this. Adam says, "Don't worry about it. I just had a really great conversation with Cory. We are fine. We are good. Look, we didn't touch the block again. Yeah. You gotta trust me. I got this.
We're fine.
You don't got this.
We're fine.
You don't." Adam is going to be so mad when Sam goes up. It's like he is going to blow up. It's going to be big.
But they've been priming him for this all season. He can't not see it coming.
He really doesn't. He feels like he just made a thing with Cory, and that like this is Cory. It's not the guys. He doesn't see how much Anthony is controlling Cory, and I don't know if he will. I don't know if Anthony will blame this all on Cory.
How can you not see how much Anthony is controlling Cory when Anthony is constantly saying, "I've got Cory. Oh yeah, she does whatever I tell her." Like they're forgetting. They're forgetting the structure of the alliance.
Mary, he doesn't control her. He's just really smart, and what he says makes sense, and so she listens.
Right, because he uses truths.
Yeah.
It's been said so many times of why this is not the brigade, but it's because none of these people realize like they can't both stick with the alliance and bring all of their pairs to the end. It's fine. Doesn't matter. You notice that we're somehow almost at the end of this and we've mentioned Mark like 0 times. Feeling really good about trading in for all my Mark stock.
Did you buy Mark?
I bought only Mark. I sold everything, bought only Mark.
Might have been the best choice this week.
I'm pretty sure there is a 0.0% chance that Mark could get up on the block in any way, fashion. Yeah. I think we're good. Feeling very proud of myself right now.
There's another thing about Mark I did want to bring up toward the end, but we can talk about it now when we're on Mark. Is that they were playing a game, and one of the games that they were playing was like, what do you think this person thinks? And so one of the questions was, who do you think Mark would want to spend 2 months locked in a cell with? And so they asked everyone, and one of the popular answers was Kiki, but 3 separate women all said themselves. Esty, Sam, and Cory all said that Mark would pick them to spend 2 months locked in a cell with, for separate reasons, because they felt like Mark liked them that much and would want to spend that much time with them. And I thought that was very telling about Mark's game, that like 3 different people, especially when there's such an obvious answer in Kiki on the table, that people did eventually gravitate toward. But that 3 separate women were like, hey, I think Mark would choose me. I think that just like that's this archetype. It just works like that. You know, they think that Mark likes them and would want to spend time with them, even though they find him annoying and awkward.
Well, I think it's that thing, you know, it's that stereotype of when you find someone who you think that you're sort of nicer, smoother, or cooler than, or whatever, you assume that they're then like really, really like you.
Yep.
So yeah, interesting. But I guess I like that. I don't think that this is any kind of intentional play on Mark's part, but it's working for him.
Yeah. So anyway, Cory is going to talk to Damien again. Damien is, I mean, again, Damien's just like still on like, hey, we're working together. Doesn't know that he's being worked against, but he's talking to Cory. He's trying to continue to plant seeds against Sam. That's kind of where he's still at in the game, and he's letting her know, hey, you know, back when I was on the block against Kaylin, you know, Sam was trying to flip and made me promise to not go after her. Like, you know, like she was in control of the vote. You know, just keep that for later. Just have that information. Like, you know. He's trying to be like a mini Anthony, trying to get her to go after Sam, I guess, but it's already happened.
It's the pairing that I would have rather had happen. Yeah, so it's fine. It's fine.
He doesn't try to manipulate. He's just giving real information. Yeah. He just wants to work like partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Adam is going to talk to Dane in the middle of one of these games in the pantry, and Dane says, "I have to come off the block. I have to come off the block. I don't like where I stand right now." Adam's like, why? What do you mean? He's like, I feel like I could go home. I feel like it could be a 3-3 vote. Adam's like, no. You're fine. You are fine. It's not going to be a 3-3 vote. We've got Sam. Us 3 and Sam. Done. Sam will vote to keep you for sure. Damien will vote to keep you. And he's like, I don't know, Damien's real close with Esty. And he's like, it doesn't matter. You're going to be fine. This is Dane, of course, trying to convince Adam to, if he wins the veto, use the veto on Dane in order to keep Dane safe. I'm sure this is going to be a continued conversation because Adam goes off on a whole different thing, and Dane doesn't hear a word he says. He just says, I think I need to win the veto, though. And so, you know, this is the start of something, I think, but Adam doesn't seem too receptive to it.
Yeah, it's because Adam he's so now put in this mindset of needing to protect him and Sam as a pair that he, I think, just doesn't even, I don't know if it's that he really truly believes that Dane would be safe, or if he just doesn't even care and would choose Sam over Dane. Like, I don't know if Adam has really thought about it in a, like, if it's this person or this person. Because it kind of, well...
I think he doesn't care. Because he did have a conversation with Anthony earlier in the day where he was like, should we be worried about Dane? But to Dane, he was much more confident. Like, no, you're good. Veto doesn't have to be used. I think he's totally fine with Dane being... I think he thinks that they can save Dane, but I think that if he has to face the choice between Dane could go home or Sam could go on the block, I think he chooses Dane could go home, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Which, like, the thing is the right thing for Adam, probably. So
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, you can't fault him for that.
Some other funny things that were happening. Kira dressed up in the same outfit as Anthony and was mimicking Anthony the whole night. Like, just copying what Anthony says and trying to like mimic his mannerisms and say Anthony-esque things, which is very funny. One of the games they were playing, Cory came up with it. It was sort of a board gamey kind of thing, and they had to do different like challenges if they matched up against other people, and so they were doing thumb wars, which was very silly, but they were also doing having to do impressions of each other, and there were some very funny impressions. Nikki, one of the impressions, they were pretty funny. Adam's impression of Cory in particular was very good, and I don't know. That would be a fun thing to check out if you are interested in that sort of thing. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun stuff. So that's really what we had for the
Yeah,
day.
that was pretty much it. There was like a good 10-minute conversation where Kira was trying to convince Anthony and Cory that Hamza was on 2 seasons ago, and it's fine.
Yeah. This is what we're working with. This is what we're working with. And Kira's one of the more knowledgeable people in the house.
I know. They eventually figured it out what they were trying to think of. They were trying to come up with a plan because this is when they were nervous and just in the beginning of the day making sure don't put me up on the block. You never want to put your friend up like what happened 2 seasons ago with Hamza. Eventually figured out what they were talking about was with Andrew and Ryan, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We got there. We got there eventually. Just took like 10 minutes.
Adam also like is just like when he's not in like sulky Adam mode is like very funny. Like another challenge they were doing where it was the questions game where they can only respond with another question. When they fail that, then they lose.
That's hard.
It is very hard. Kira is very good at it. And so for that, they had to come up with scenarios. And so Adam every time was just immediately ready with like a really like soap opera-y dramatic scenario. Like, she just stole your girlfriend. Or like... there was one he was like, you want to get an abortion and you don't want her to. They're like, no. And his impressions were great. So fun stuff.
Thanks.
Is Adam a secret telenovela stan? I think so. I think that's the case. All right. So yeah,
He's just living out his own soap opera in this Big Brother house.
Yes. They talked about, they were all impressed with SD the night before, talking to them about intellectual things like Irwin's theory of evolution. And
right.
And I think Dane was he was like Sigmund Freud something.
Yeah, Sigmund Freud.
Freud.
Right.
And Kira was like, you guys don't know about Freud? And he was like, no, I know about him. It's like okay.
What's more impressive, SD giving out intellectual conversations or the creepy noise that she can make?
I don't know. Sigmund Freud. All right. You can find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taryn. Mary, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Frail Mary.
There you go.
Hashtag clean sweep.
Hashtag clean sweep. I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update on everything that happens today on the Big Brother Canada 7 live feeds. And then tomorrow night, we'll be live to recap the Sunday night episode of Big Brother Canada 7. And then Monday night, we will be updating the Stock Watch, where Mary might be in for a windfall. And also talk about the week and everything else. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.